I'm all set, Ken.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, good evening. We will call to order the Crestbrook Park Golf Course Subcommittee regular meeting for January 2nd, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. Roll call.
Pat Rinaldi.
Ken LaRose. Public participation, I see none. We'll move on to approval of minutes in December.
Anybody needs to see minutes, please.
Oh, I do have them. We'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 5th.
So moved.
Favor? Opposed? Okay.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Joe.
Joe moved and Pat seconded.
Yeah.
Did you move? I didn't.
I make the motion.
I mean, sorry about that.
Joe's confusing.
Joe, yeah, I know. Correspondence, we don't have it. So we move on to reports. The chairman's report. The main golf course officially closed the week before Christmas. So we'll see what happens. I do have to make a motion. I do want to add under new business B. This is a motion to add on a discussion of the pros contract. You can't do it. So moved. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. So that's good. That's about it, Marty. We'll discuss a little more, but you guys were all at the meeting. It was, good news from the town council. So
I couldn't make it. I apologize. It was good news.
Good news. Yes, they agreed to the contract
to the recommendations
Michael put forward. There was probably about 7 or 8 guys there. Me, I was there. Billy was there. Michael was there.
Joe.
No. Oh, Joe didn't go. Yeah, I was going to point that. I couldn't remember. I saw Joe. There's like 3 or 4 guys from the senior league.
Okay.
My golf partner was there, so it was. He had a good showing. He had good support.
That's good.
And as soon as they walked out of the meeting, they called them and said, I really didn't think there was going to be a problem with them ratifying it. I thought maybe they would ask them questions.
Well, they didn't tell them at the meeting. They called them later.
The guys told me, one of the senior, I think Craig Lamphere called him later. Gotcha. They approved this contract, but Michael was prepared to sit up there, and read off. He had this whole list. I know he was a little depressed after the meeting. He didn't even ask me any questions.
All that work, right, Mike? You put together, and then
it'll be good for the budget.
Yes.
Michael's going to read it during his director's report. It was only common sense.
Yeah.
To do it with what's happening.
Yes.
All of my work that Mike did.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be crazy if you let him go and then have to bring someone in at the same money.
You would have never done it.
Right. You would have got nobody if you had to be
honest. Right. No.
Yeah, right.
You would have had to pay what you're paying him at the minimum.
Right. So that's really about it. We're just not waiting for fall. I know Marty wants to do a indoor golf league. He did one last year before.
They sent the thing out.
So I'm debating. I did it the last couple of years.
No, he did leave some wiggle room that if the weather turns good, he may open.
Yes.
Day here.
Yes, I don't think they won't do it on a day-to-day, day by day. He'd want to see a weather forecast, say 7 or 8 days.
I mean, if he could open for 10 days, he may.
He did consider opening, yes.
Yeah.
Ray would really be the trigger puller on that one.
People that went down to Grassy Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, they were packed.
Yeah. Well, I looked, Lyman said tea time.
Oxford Greens was packed. I mean, so people are.
So Oxford, I'm surprised, but Grassy Hill, I'm not, because it's much warmer.
It's right down on the shore, right? Yes, that's where Kenny is.
Oxford, I'm surprised.
Yeah, Oxford's always, but they're open. There's snow on the
They must have good
Hartford stays open.
Yeah. What's that?
They must have good draining to keep them far off.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they take some damage.
Yep.
Take some winter damage. I mean, I would hate to see. Much as I would love to stay open 12 months, I would hate to see it stay open 12 months.
Yeah.
I think our greens would just be destroyed unless they did a temporary.
Dude, that's what I was going to say. A lot of them, that was so common years.
They put a stick in the ground and here's the circle. Get in the circle.
Get within the circle.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just because you just want to swing. That's You're not out to you're really not going to play that hard. That's really about it. I'll discuss a little bit more with his contract and some of our thoughts from a couple of meetings ago on this one. I just want to bring up so we'll move on to the director's report.
All right, thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you.
Same here.
We did have a nice showing at the town council meeting, so thanks for all that all the people that were there to support the contract for the proposal that this commission recommended to the town council. And the public came out to support it as well. A couple of people from the public spoke, and the people that were in attendance acknowledged their approval by clapping. So it certainly didn't hurt. It was nice to have that kind of confidence come out, that support come out. So I think that reinforces what the commission discussed last month at length about the recommendation for the council. So I'll read you a memo for the record that I sent to the town manager. That I sent it on December 16th. That on the town council's agenda, there's an item to consider approval of an independent contractor agreement for the golf pro at Crestbrook Park Golf Course. As we have discussed at recent meetings, it was the approach of the Watertown Parks and Recreation Commission and me to implement a plan that would be in the best interest of Crestbrook Park Golf Course and the town of Watertown. As part of this due diligence, I visited and researched several municipal golf courses, and together with Marty Burns, visited Timberline Golf Course to tour the facilities and meet with their golf pro and director of golf. At the regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission on December 5th, 2024, the commission voted unanimously to recommend that the director sent to the town attorney for review to the town council for the approval the proposed agreement by and between the town of Watertown and Marty Burns for the independent contractor agreement at Crestbrook Park Golf Course. So some of the substance changes that were made is that we're just tweaking the hours of the golf course, of the pro shop to align more with sunset, so that as the sunset times change, the hours of the golf course can also change. We replaced the salary from 55 to 62.5 for the period January through December 31st. And then we discussed, as the pro reiterated, that he'd rather turn the inventory over and have to commit a little less money. I think it makes sense with so many factors that are kind of working against a retail apparel shop or equipment shop at Crestbrook Park. So I think that was changed from $10,000 to $3,000. And we have some plans, as we elaborated last month, on how we can fill out the pro shop. And the logic for that was the best practice for retail at this location is to have less inventory that will turn over 2 or 3 times a season. Consignment opportunities will be explored. And then the golf course revenue will be retained by the pro, with the contractors submitting reports to this department. And again, to reiterate what we talked about last month, is that's sort of to develop golf in the future. We want the golf pro to have a space to be able to run lessons and cultivate the game. So that's going to kind of be, I see that the pro shop, and then going back up to the driving range being where the pro makes the bread and butter. Yeah. And then had the I think, yeah. So that was it. That was what I was prepared to present to the town council at the meeting. Should they ask me to make a presentation on behalf of the pro, or on behalf of the commission. So I'm happy to report that the town council did approve your recommendation. We have started selling ticket passes for next year. We've got the applications are being updated. They're actually available now. Are some of the policies and procedures that might go along with any golf tournament applications, things like that. I still want to get to updating some of those things. In the full commission meeting tonight, I'll have some policies or the permit applications for the fields that if you guys want to take a look at, we've got those updated for this year. But other than that, that's, the golf course, as we reported, is pretty much closed for the season. We had a little stretch where we thought about, where we might do that. Is that about or anything yet?
No,
This one.
All right, good, thank you. Oh, and then most importantly, I'm sorry, there was a small fire at Sunset Grill on Friday, December 27th. So at 4 o'clock on December 27th, I was alerted by dispatch that there was a fire at Sunset. I responded to Sunset, where I met with the fire chief and fire chief and the fire marshal and the fire department. So I want to express gratitude to all of the emergency medical personnel that responded to the scene. The restaurant performed well under the circumstances. What I know now, what we didn't know that night, is that a motor malfunctioned, or there was a faulty wire in the motor of one of the furnaces in the lower level. That caused smoke to build up, or a fire, where the smoke was fire in the furnace, not a boiler. And then the smoke went through the ductwork. So there was quite a bit of smoke in the restaurant. So everything was contained, everybody was safe, and then the determination needed to be made, can the restaurant stay open? And that wasn't, we wanted to collaborate to come to that conclusion. So the fire marshal and myself contacted the Department of Health, and ultimately they were the ones that we relied on to make the go or not go for the restaurant being able to operate. The restaurant did have a party there Friday night that they were able, the night of the incident, and they were able to relocate that party offsite with the food having been secured and contained where there was no contamination or chance of. And we've had favorable weather since last Friday. So I immediately, I kept the town manager apprised on the scene as to what we needed to do, because things may have been different. If it was going to be 0 degrees for Friday night through the weekend, we may have been, we would have had to expedite this a little bit quicker. So, pardon the pun, but we avoided, at this point, the fire sort of, could have been much worse. So with the motors, it's scheduled to be replaced tomorrow, and that'll be the best case scenario. And it looks like we've got a pretty good chance of it being best case scenario. Our insurance company's been notified, the town attorney's been notified. I asked the town attorney to review the lease, because that was where, is that on the town? I would think it is as a landlord, but I wasn't the one that drafted that, but it makes sense. We're very fortunate as a Sunset Grill that any interruption of business has been minimally impacted at this time. So with some good fortune, we'll be able to be up and running tomorrow. And they've been subsidizing heat, if that's the right word, with some wall mounted units.
Okay, so they're open. They're
open, yes. Yep. And there is a boiler downstairs in the Bennett room, which I believe is I don't know if it's an oil boiler or not. It may, I'm not sure if it's hot air or if it's a boiler. I'll have to look at it next time I'm there. But there is there's heat downstairs. So is there enough residual heat to heat the restaurant with their fireplace that's on the wall and some wall? They might be able to keep it again. If it's windy and 20 degrees, my house can't stay. I could turn the heat up to 80 and it's not, I'm not touching it.
So the Board of Health, I think you said?
Yeah, Torrington Area Department of Health.
So they gave the okay that they could open if they wanted to, and they would have to just ensure.
They were open the next day and had a baby shower.
Okay.
And they've been open ever since.
Yeah.
The furnaces, Sunset LLC put in the furnace off the Bennett room. It wasn't that one, it was the old furnace, the existing one that had been there for years and years and years.
Any loss of business are we responsible for?
Not this time. I think loss of business may actually fall on the business. Because it wouldn't ultimately be my call as to how to interpret the lease.
Right, that's what I was wondering if it was in a lease.
But there is nothing. They relocated the party, and the next day they were open, and everything they had booked was done.
Well, that's good.
There was no loss of business of Sunset.
So it'll be Abby that, so Barrowbolt responded to the scene as well Friday, give credit to them. I mean, I think really it was an admirable, it was impressive what I witnessed. So yeah, everybody working together, we should be in full operation by this time tomorrow. And that's it, all I have for this evening under my report.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to no foreman, no call professional, no restaurant, so, and no old business. We'll go right on to new business. We got review and consideration of some applications. We have none at the moment. I thought we would have had the one from the Cub Scouts tonight, but we didn't.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, oh sure, for Mike, yeah.
Yeah, because the Lions Club said that they submitted that last month.
Okay.
And I know it wasn't on our last month's agenda, and now you're saying it's not on this one. So they said they submitted all the paperwork. It was probably right after around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So just to see what happened to that. So
all right. So just so that one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to start having the people that are the organizer of the tournament work directly with the golf pro.
okay.
So I have to work with the golf pro to I'll see if Marty's willing to take these. I'm sure he would take these calls and work these things out.
Okay.
Even though the course is closed.
Yeah.
At least put, mark calendars and things like that.
Right.
All right. So I'll check on that.
Yeah. Just so we don't want to lose it.
So, all right, now, did the commission, do you guys want me to have some kind of this? So what's the reasoning again for the permits to go and is this the right place? Maybe I should wait to the other. So let me bring this, let's talk about this under the applications, maybe.
That's what we're on the back now.
Sorry about that, thank you. We're under new business already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not writing anywhere near this.
Because there's nothing.
Good thing this is on report.
No, after your report, there's nothing.
There was nothing.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
There's nobody here.
You didn't miss anything.
You didn't miss anything.
All right.
No foreman, no golf professional, no representative, no old business. All blank.
So I will have Marty contact, that very well could be why.
Okay, then it was Charlie Newman.
So what do you guys want to have, did we determine, or did this commission determine that the director has some authority to be able to issue these tournaments? How involved do you guys, because just say this commission couldn't meet for one reason or another. We had a snowstorm. I know we could have special meetings, but do we want to have a special meeting to approve tournaments?
My thought on that, this is one of the things I was going to bring up on the view with his pro contract, but we're here now. It would be easier for the golf pro to handle tournaments because, or let's say somebody wants to hold a tournament, they tell you tomorrow they want the tournament. Now they have to wait 4 weeks, 5 weeks till our next meeting.
Right.
And then if we have a problem with it, now you're talking 4 more weeks.
And I think January played out.
And January's, but we'll start coming in the next month and a half. If the pro handles it, he's got a good report to restaurant. He can bring it all, he can tie it all together. But what's gonna happen, in my opinion, what have to happen is when he books a tournament, the first phone call after it's booked is to you or to this office saying, on June 2nd, I booked a tournament for 75 people at whatever time, whatever. And then you could come back and just keep the commission informed.
Yeah, my only question is, because I agree, let him say yay or nay, but what if there's issues like we had to make decisions on about parking for the restaurant when they were doing, they were doing a car show, but then what if you have an attorney at the same time? Well, I'm just trying to give an example. If there's any questions
if he's
regarding
unsure about something, he can send it to the commission.
Okay.
Too.
It just has to be clear.
I think part of the process is for the pro to communicate with the restaurant as well.
Yeah.
And maybe a quick phone call to the office, seeing if the pavilion is available or not available. I didn't hear negative feedback from parking at restaurant.
I just use that as an example.
Yeah.
But it's something to be aware of. I know there's a couple of events where the parking's tight, but is renting a pavilion problematic for the operations of the golf course? Because as we'll know and as we'll discuss in the full commission meeting, it doesn't cost a lot of money to rent the pavilion. Is it worth the permit.
Right.
Although people might use it without a permit anyway,
but that's okay, but the permit reason was so that if I want to have a party there, I know I have the pavilion.
Right.
If not, all the pavilions in town are first come, first serve. You know, and you can only.
But if we have a big tournament, should we not book the pavilion that same day, is I think what
I would say probably yes.
Probably yes,
Don't book it. Yeah, don't.
But so that's very difficult, that's getting it out to be first come, first serve. So do we turn away a tournament because the pavilion is already rented?
I think the golf tournament has to take priority over the pavilion, because that's where the money is.
And you gotta factor in, you know, is it a 75-person tournament or is it a 130-person tournament?
that's what I was gonna say,
Marty can run a 75-person tournament with other distractions going on up the course.
Mm-hmm.
Can you run it when it's the policeman's tournament? Can you run the pavilion? No, you couldn't, because that place is just a zoo.
Yeah, so maybe the remedy to that is we will have less opportunity for conflicts up there if big tournaments are not held on Saturday, Sunday, which we already don't do.
Correct.
More or less.
And that was my second part of my question was, is he still gonna adhere to what we've already put in place for a tournament?
That's my question too, so I mean, he's gonna get some rules from this commission. Like only what's the rule?
I think we said two
a month on a weekend.
I mean, as long as, you know, now if he has a strong reason to deviate from that, for some reason, he can come to us and ask us.
Yes.
But he still should have some working
guidelines, right.
Guidelines, and then.
Because if not, if he flexes for one person or one group and he doesn't for another, we're gonna hear.
This just protects him.
Yes.
That's why I look at it.
He's just doing the rules. You don't like the rules,
Right.
Partner go forward.
Because you don't want something to backfire and then everybody looks and blames Marty.
And that's why
exactly.
That's why Oscar was here a couple of months ago, when he asked, I want to change, can we have a Saturday tournament?
Right.
Well, no, there's a reason we don't want to do Saturday tournaments anymore. And the other thing with that was we let the Boy Scouts do it. Now I can tell you what, there's a restaurant there that wanted to have 3 tournaments on Saturdays 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reason we stopped a lot of this.
I see, I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's before my time.
Okay,
So
so he has to follow the guidelines, and if there's questions, he goes bring it forward.
Yes.
All right, what has to happen? What did you say about 3?
Well, we only allow a tournament. We don't every other weekend. Every other Sunday, technically, during the season.
Okay.
Because we don't want to clog the course up for our everyday golfers either. And it'll only be, well, now it'll only be Sunday afternoons, because we think it's Saturday out of the equation.
Now, I think it may be in the interest for our, so what is the procedure if Marty believes that it's the best, meets the operational needs and the best interest of what's happening up there, to do a 44-person tournament on Saturday afternoon and have 7 foursomes out there or whatever that math comes out to be.
Because 7 foursomes isn't gonna close down
Right,
the course on either tournament.
Right.
He's gonna give them basically tee times and mix them in with the normal crowd.
So what does he need to get from me or from you to do that? I would think our only concern would be is the pavilion also rented.
Right. I think before he does anything on a Saturday, he at least should talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like he said, I know he's put 40-person tournaments off on a Saturday afternoon. And I know how he does. He'll shotgun them, he'll scatter them on the course. And so he'll know this last group's gonna come through at this time. So I gotta make sure by that time this tee's open. You know, the 10th is open.
Okay.
And I know he has done that over the summer. It works. He's very smart at coordinating tee times, I've noticed over the last couple of years. So he's capable of doing it. I would have the faith in him. Past pros, I would not have had the faith in some of our past pros to do that, but he seems to have a grip on it.
Okay.
But yes, if he wants to do something on Saturday, at least he should call down here and let you know, say, hey.
Okay.
Are there guidelines already written for the tournaments?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if Marty just uses that as his base.
This is base,
And
yes.
if he has to deviate from that, then he just lets someone let you know.
Mike know.
And then, then you can work it out, just maybe out of courtesy, you just let us know.
Yeah.
Because this tournament might be over by the time we meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just out of courtesy, just say, okay, this is what we did. And so everybody's in the loop, so that's, I mean, I'm just like I said, I'm a big person.
You're on the right path, because I don't remember exactly what the terminology would be, but it would be, you know, the director can approve it, but what is the retroactive action of the commission, you know, but the commission will, you know.
If he approves it, and if he has the ability to approve all the tournaments, if there's something on a Saturday, we're saying he needs to let you know about it.
Yeah, have a conversation with us.
Conversation with him and explain himself why he's doing it.
That's right.
And this is my, and he's very good, he's done, he goes, yeah, I know, I 28 guys show up and want to play, this is what I did. It did not interrupt play whatsoever. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to stop people from doing things, but I also got to guard against our everyday person that's out there and wants to play. So we're not shutting the course down on a Saturday.
I don't think it's going to happen often, right? He's probably going to turn them away. Yeah. But if it's something small like that, I'm comfortable him at least coming to you and saying, hey, what do you think? This is my plan. I think it'll work. I've done it before.
I'd like to think it could be a nice little niche.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe with the restaurant.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something small like
it
that.
Helps the restaurant and it helps us.
Whatever has to happen on that end.
I think it'll make people that want to have functions at the golf course tournaments, it'll make them feel a little bit better knowing that they're talking to the pro of the golf course. And they're going to get an answer pretty much right then. You know, in there, say, okay, you want it at the restaurant, you know, hey, come on up on Tuesday at 3 o'clock. We'll downstairs, we'll meet with the restaurant and we'll see, you know, and we'll know. Instead of just, you know, them saying, you know, when they were turning applications here, are you using the restaurant? Did they contact the restaurant? You know, so they're making, you got a potential customer making 3 or 4 phone calls.
Right.
That could really technically be done in one to 1.5 phone calls.
We want to try to provide concierge, right?
Yes, yes.
And
and it's part of what Marty wants too. He wants more control over there. You know.
Yeah. Listen, you could gather a group of people. I don't golf anymore, but I would think there's you know, on a Facebook chat you can the next day get a tournament together. You know, not like something small, like not necessarily a tournament, but whatever you guys you know, they
maybe there's like 12 guys.
Little challenge or something like
6 guys that I'll get a text on Sunday morning. You guys want to play this afternoon? Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Let's go.
I know. From years ago, guys would like that instead of you know, going anywhere. Well, today everybody goes away for a stag, right?
Yeah.
Destination or whatever. But you could go there. You know, you could do something. If everybody doesn't want to go away somewhere, you can go and have a party there.
You say that I'm hoping we're over by April 13th because my niece's future husband is a Martino. It's Ronnie's son. And this, of course, the stag's going to be at the grill, you know, sunset. And I want to see I want to see, you know, a lot of the guys, you know, Martinos all play. My brother-in-law plays, and I'm going to go see Marty if maybe I can get 3 or 4 tee times before the stag.
Yeah.
You know, and they just go out there and have a good time.
How does somebody handle if they're pissed off, upset, they want to have a complaint?
That was the thing I forgot.
I knew that.
Thank you. That was it. What happens? How do we deal with any conflict?
What kind of complaint?
They're upset with the how it was handled at the golf pro.
Right.
All right, if the golf pro doesn't handle it right, they should be directed to the Park and Recs director.
That's just something that was, we need something to.
I would ask them. I would try to set an appointment up with somebody to try.
But if somebody's upset, the answer is call the director.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And we just get feedback after.
Sure, that works.
I think we should get feedback after every tournament too. And if we could, I think maybe we should you email the event coordinator of the tournament and ask them how it went, what they thought.
I don't know how much money they made.
No, that's none of our business. If they pay us our money, how much money they make is none of our business.
No, I want to know how much money we
make.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Number of golfers times our rate. That's easy.
Which there may be opportunities to tweak that rate.
That's in the whole pro contract that I was going to talk about.
Okay.
And we should probably review how this is going maybe halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Just to see, hey, is it working out? You may hear conflicts before, before anyways, but just to keep in mind.
I think the only conflicts you're going to hear are the Saturday conflicts.
Yeah. Why not? Why couldn't I do it?
Why couldn't I? Because, but.
And this commission might consider a couple grandfathered Saturdays or?
Right now, I said no because we did that last year.
Okay.
That's,
So last year,
we warned them 3 years ago this was coming.
yeah, we felt they didn't get enough notice.
Yes.
Boy Scouts and other ones like that, so we grandfathered this past season only because when we made the decision in December,
right,
which I felt was still enough time, December you're talking about. Now this year here, there should be no grandfather whatsoever.
we're changing directors, you know, it was just very confusing at the time, and we just kind of.
Here's the other thing, I mean, if we do stick to it, which I think we should, then if Marty lets some of these go wrong, can I get your crumbs from your crumbs?
No, we weren't that close.
Let me check.
There might be some squawking that ends up happening because people say, well, they had a term. I know Joe had a term.
I don't think he's gonna let any of the big, like, I'm going to the Boy Scouts, the hockey tournaments, the Little League, he's not gonna allow those on a Saturday. Because he was all in favor of moving them to Sunday.
But
I'm talking, I know he's had a couple, you know, a group of 40 guys call like a week in advance, say, hey, can we get out there and play?
Yeah, we're giving.
He's been able to course around.
So we're gonna give him some leeway to make some decisions, but if it works, fine, if not, we'll have to review it.
I think the important thing is that, you know, it's shutting down the course versus squeezing people in.
Right.
By giving somebody 10 tee times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up to his discretion, because if 10 people showed up to get tee times anyway, they could go out.
Yeah.
So, but shutting down the course and squeezing people in are two different worlds, so nobody should complain about that. So.
The one thing that has to stay the same. The paperwork. All the permits and everything have to be filled out here, but we have a central location.
Well, can they fill them out? If they're gonna talk to him, let them fill it out and he can hand them it to us.
No. Let Marty can do all talking and stuff like that, then Marty says you have to go down to the Park and Rec office like you would do it anyways, so that we make sure all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. If we have.
You're adding a step that's just, we're trying to get away from, I think.
Because we have to remove.
I'm gonna verify, because that paperwork's our, if something happens, that's our legal.
But
back.
Then we include.
And we want to dump that on Marty, extra work on Marty?
You've got a checklist of when they sign on the contract for a golf tournament, you have to give him a checklist. These are the things that he needs.
Correct.
And then that goes in an envelope, and it comes down here.
Yeah.
I think all paperwork should be stored down here.
Yeah, all paperwork that we have.
It should go to the golf course, not, you don't want your customer driving all over.
And back down.
Yeah. We'll do the best customer service we can. We can accommodate them either here or there.
Right.
But we can courier if the application lines up at the golf course. We can get it here and vice versa. But we will store the records here.
Yeah, we have to make sure that that's our legal backing. If anything happens, that has to be maintained. That's the reason why all this came about. Because the two previous pros, Kenny Gemmel, okay. The only thing Kenny Gemmel would sign was his paychecks. Everything else paperwork, Kenny was, I'm a golf pro, I don't want to get involved. Jan was better, but still in the court. Jan didn't want to get involved. Well, that's somebody else do that. He was good at delegating, pushing everything off. And everything just kept going farther and farther. That's why we decided to rein it all in. They make Jess, the key point here, so that everything was here, everything is located. We made the rules that restaurant couldn't just book something with a golf, okay? They couldn't go just a golf tournament without contacting the restaurant to make sure that the restaurant was open on that particular day. So that's why all that came in, because it was just so nitty to the outsides.
But yeah, the background that you're talking about, Bill, I don't know. So, but my 2 cents would be, Marty is looking forward to this.
Yes.
Yep.
He's already bought into this whole thing about
absolutely
being the coordinator of the. So I think in that case, maybe the examples you gave, okay, they're historical, but you had two guys that weren't interested in doing this. Now you got a guy who is interested in doing it. So I think that's the thing.
Oh, that's good.
And
And
the ones
worst
that
that
are
can-
coordinating with the restaurant.
Right,
And
he wants
worst,
control.
worst that can happen is that come, if we do, like we were saying just a second, a review in July.
Yeah.
Just say, and it's not working out, we can tweak it anytime we want. I mean, if it's not working
Right.
to your,
Yeah.
you know, you don't like what's going on, or you don't like what's going on, or Marty, I mean, we can certainly tweak this whole thing, so.
I'm gonna move on to his pro contract, because we've just been
Okay.
talking about it
I
most of
think
the time
we-
anyways.
Yeah,
Question though, has the contract been offered out yet and signed?
This is new business B,
New business B, yeah.
it is executed,
It is, okay, so he's under contract.
yes,
That was the biggest question I don't
What
think.
was it? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year?
1 year.
1 year, okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's to see how it goes, make sure it's a fit.
And then we wanna, you know, start really trying to, you know, have these conversations a little bit earlier. Which is hard to do, it really is, it's hard to do, but I think we got in under the radar this year in terms of timing, you know, if we had to go back out, man, if we didn't have to post for it, I think.
we'd be here.
I think I'd rather post for it in October, November than
Well,
January.
it is in his contract for October, to let us know by October 1st.
Yeah, I think it might be November 1st.
October 1st.
Alright, well, then, whatever, you can start to discuss, you and him can start a discussion
Yeah.
anytime you
That's
want.
right.
What are you thinking?
Right,
Yeah.
You know,
which we kind of did, but
Yeah.
I think, you know.
there were,
Not knowing what I know now,
Right.
it was because, you know, you're in the middle of the season, it's like trying to ask a basketball official for his opinion about what you're having for
And-
dinner tonight when they're calling the game.
and in his defense, he got a little checked out towards, over the summer. His mind went elsewhere, because he was not happy, and we really didn't pick up on it that much, he was sick for a good couple of weeks too.
Yeah,
So I think there's a lot of insinuating circumstances behind the scenes that nobody really knew, and now that we know.
Well, he has to come to the meetings then and inform
But
us.
it's hard for him, gotta remember, on a Thursday night in August,
of course.
he's
He's
the wall.
Well, how do we do that then? How do we keep that
That's
open
It's just,
communication?
he's up there, Michael's up there quite a bit talking to him.
Yeah, and we'll start providing a written, like
Just definitely, yeah.
if the pro isn't going to be here, I at least ask him to jot a few notes down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask the same thing of Ray Marks.
Yeah. So,
Just give us a couple of highlights.
Yeah,
and then some of the things we were talking about before his contract, we didn't know what was going on. We had talked about rates, and we talked about all that, and I know Marty had some ideas on fees. I don't know if we wanna just drop that for this year.
This year, I think the fees have already been let out of the
Right.
cage.
Right, and I also know that the town council asked to went back to the minutes of when they when they did the fees for us. Town council did ask the question of why wasn't there a rate increase? It didn't go anywhere,
Right.
but, so I don't know if they were expecting one, or, because we had discussed some. But if everything's in stone, it's in print, then there's really not
No,
much.
I mean, nothing's ever in stone, but I think I wanna try to get ahead of any market,
Yeah,
things that are gonna go on the market. Let's offer a quality product at a reasonable price. People are getting squeezed every which way. If we can not increase our fees by 10-20%, maybe we'll grab a couple more golfers, and it won't take too many more golfers to backfill or even create more revenue and more activity at the golf course.
no, and I agree, I stand back where I was a couple months ago, we were talking about rate increases, but I didn't wanna raise the daily fees. I was looking at season passes, and if they're out there, I know it's too late.
Right.
But I know two of the big things me and Marty had talked about up at the pro shop one day is when he thinks our cart fees should be more. And then also like on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning, we think that should be considered like a prime slot, prime tee times, and he could probably get another $5 to $10 a round total,
just on the weekend.
just on those three mornings, because you can't hear that course is packed on a
So
Saturday
we're
and
charging
Sunday.
the same on you during the week as we do on the weekend?
No, we have a weekend rate, but he thinks our weekend rates could be a little bit more compared to what other places charge on weekends before 1 o'clock.
And I have quite a bit of data that Marty presented to me that perhaps you guys do, where he breaks down like the cost per round, and the seasons past is below market rate.
Correct.
We do need to adjust that for next. Or you could do a combination of raising the fee and blocking out some tee times. Like saying to the league, you can't show up until a certain time, which I think you said that may be risky. For season passes not to be able to play, like why can't they not? Can they tee off a little later on Friday to allow for more
open play?
Open play.
I think the biggest thing there is it's the price of the season pass. We would love to get. I personally, I know we've talked about it in the past, but I think the season passes should go away. It's not advantageous to the course. It's advantageous to the golfer, because I'll tell you right now, I played 67 rounds last year. Figure that out at $50 a pop.
Yeah,
I paid $1,100 to play.
No, it was 2,100.
See, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I made out. There was one year I fell a couple hundred. You'll get maybe 10% will fall short, but if you're getting a pass, you do plan on playing. You do play. And for me to say I played 67 rounds, there's guys up there that play every day. They play 100 to 150 rounds.
67 rounds counts the league play?
Yes. Yep.
Well, you know, you could offer quarterly rates.
We do a half season rate for the second half of the season.
Okay.
July 1st, right?
July, in the middle of July, something like that.
Well, maybe I have one for, you know, January to July.
Is there a way?
We don't want to overcomplicate. We got to the point now where I think our pricing structure is very complicated.
Okay.
We have a lot of categories, and I personally, whoever's going to be sitting here in 6 months should consider scaling back some of the categories.
You should remember that.
Don't forget it.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the surcharge one that should go away.
Yeah.
You know, these are my opinions. This is, you know, things we were kind of working on. We were discussing. We did, but then all of a sudden, we didn't think we had a pro.
Yeah.
So we just went with a flat rate for next year because you're going to if we had, we thought we
went with a flat rate
of just
rid of the surcharge.
No, we didn't do anything. We just went. We didn't do any. No, it was on the table.
It
was going to happen. Probably,
but
then because we didn't want to confuse it, you knew you were going to get people getting upset.
Not only that surcharge may be in the charter or in the conditions of how the course was originally acquired or funded. So I think surcharge may have a legal meaning to it, you know, like an enterprise fund, right? Then does a surcharge is supposed to automatically be going to the enterprise fund. So if we were to get rid of the surcharge, does that complicate
Right.
Okay. And so I think that is a question that the town manager and the town council and the town attorney and the director of finance will.
Right.
There should be a way. There may be a way we can do it now, because maybe 30 years ago the kind of data reporting and collection wasn't as easy as it is now to have. You know, because everybody's swiping a credit card, not everybody, but most people, you have your checks and balances that you wouldn't have before.
My only thing I was going to say was regarding doing away, and that's not a conversation maybe for now, but doing away with it, maybe we have to analyze, or do we have the ability to analyze of all the people that have a membership, your league membership, can we tell how many rounds they've played?
Yes.
Because I'm sure there's some that exceed, some that don't. What does it look like? Are more exceeding or more not playing the number of rounds?
We get,
so that's
there is a printout. You can get a printout, yes, of what everybody's playing.
Because we've been on a number of these where we've given refunds when somebody had medical things, and we said they played rounds, and we even give you the dates they played this date, this date, this date, this date. Okay, and then they got hurt. Doctor says hip replacement, can't play for the rest of the year, and we have offered the refund, but we know exactly how many rounds they played, what days they played.
So that might be something good to review when we start discussing what to do with the membership.
But it's gonna have to be started over the summer, not
not
September.
Right.
You know,
You know, it'd be helpful too, and I don't, so you've gone through this already. So I mean, basically the golf course is what's the gross number? Is it $1 million operation?
Yeah,
810,000, I
Not
think.
quite, that's
Our
our
budget this year was
$819,000.
So if we just say $1 million operation for someone to do a 1-year contract and telling us in October that they're not coming back next year, I don't care who it is, forget about Marty. That really puts us in a bad position because now we're risking a big chunk of that $1 million So to me, I mean, it should be like the minimum, maybe should be a 2-year contract.
I'm gonna go on and say the 1 year was to see how it goes.
Yeah, but I'm not saying for Marty.
right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
For this year,
yes, I
to
can
make sure
this
he's
is still-
okay.
this-
He
yeah,
gets what he really wants on the back end.
So
he
this,
and I are still
They
feeling.
used to be 2 to 4, they used to be 2 to 4 year contract.
okay.
Every contract until Marty was a 4-year contract.
So this has nothing to do with Marty. I'm
This
just
has nothing
saying,
to do
if you look at this from the top down.
Yeah, it would have to be a longer
Yeah,
contract.
That's what determined the contract.
Because during that winter,
Yeah.
you got potentially people that may be interested in doing the golf course that take off, they go to Florida.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the pool of people with 6 months' notice could be pretty small. Versus if someone said to you, July 1st of 2025, I'm not coming back next year.
Yeah.
You know, a year and a half from now, I'm not gonna be here. It gives you a long horizon to try to find somebody. So that would be my only thing. This has nothing to do with Marty. I understand what
Right.
happened this
No, we're
year.
talking about the pro contract.
But we're talking about,
Yeah.
we're talking about, you know, down the road.
Down the road, and I agree, it should be a longer term contract, yes.
Okay.
I do agree. That's all I really, I just had to know the rates, did we wanna relook at them, you know, that we said no. You know, everything else under here is the same thing, it's season passes, yes, we have room to move in our season passes, we really do.
Well, again, but
Again, I
I thought about if you wanna tweak 2 things, like give some time, like, can we limit time without it being controversial? And do a combination of limiting when they can be on, when season pass holders can tee off. You know, do they, you know, is it 10 o'clock, is it 11 o'clock?
Yeah. I will, well, when you run into the men's association issue, if they're still around in a few years. I had some thoughts of maybe we offer a Monday to Friday season pass. You know, like the seniors technically are Monday through Friday afternoons on weekends. Do we offer a discounted pass similar to that? Say somebody that basically just plays leagues and might play once a night during the week, or you know, one day during the week. They get a pass for those, but they can't play on weekends. They can't play, you know. No, it's
They can
surprising.
play,
I know,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, why should I get a season pass?
But it doesn't have
on
to
the
be.
weekend?
It's
It's Monday through Friday pass.
Yeah.
It's a Monday through Friday
Yeah,
pass.
say it's 600. I'm just throwing it's X amount of dollars versus our season pass goes, you know, it's 1,100 right now. So this is $600-700 to play Monday through Friday.
Because if you have a season pass holder,
Yeah.
they may bring friends on the weekends.
But
season pass.
they want a full. That'd be your full season pass.
Otherwise, they may say, well, I'll go someplace else with my threesome, you know.
It happens more than you think.
And go someplace else instead of bringing
That's
there.
right.
He has a season pass, now he's locked in.
Yeah, but that's why we're.
And then you're bringing more categories in, and we're trying to.
But there's a few categories that I think should go away.
Yeah,
Just, you know,
absolutely, but-
but it's just a thought. I mean, it's a thought, you know, let's throw.
Yeah.
Scratch against the wall and see what sticks and what doesn't.
We'll be back in November before we know it.
Yeah.
You can do something like
Yeah.
a 30-round pass.
Yep.
Right,
You look at it,
punch card.
Yeah, they did a 10 round, we did a 10 round during.
30 round, you know, and you look at it at $50, say $50 a round, and you're gonna offer it at $45 a round for those 30. So they're making money, and they're still coming like the season pass and bringing other people with them.
Now, that's something that we may also want to bring to the town council, or should. I don't see why we couldn't amend this and say, here's a couple of 50th anniversary promotions that we want to offer. And we can do the punch pass.
Yeah, I like that. The punch pass, they're not physically gonna punch anything up.
Something like it.
Yeah. That's another thing
I don't know how it
that,
works, but I'm sure they have.
Our accounting system's already set up for it. with the regular season passes, we can come back and tell you what days and what rounds you play. Putting that into the punch pass is very easy. It's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna be going in, winding in on a barcode and say you play this day, this day, this day. No different than getting cups of coffee down a bucket of guns. Oh, that's it. You used them all up.
Yeah,
You wanna buy another
you got a
one?
differential between 9 and 18. It may actually come down to where you say you buy a $500 pass, we give you a 10% discount, a $500 gift certificate to the golf course. Not to the pro shop, to the golf course. We'll give you a 10% discount. So instead of $500, you're paying $450, and then you just work that off every time you play.
Yep.
Instead of X amount of rounds, because I might play 3 9s, I might play 4 18s. You know you got a $450 gift certificate.
Okay.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
It might take you 10 rounds, it might take you 18 rounds.
Will Marty or will the cashier know when the person goes, oh,
It's
no,
a
you
gift card,
exceeded?
a physical gift card.
Okay, so,
It'll bounce.
okay, so they will know.
It'll bounce.
They
Like a
put-
debit card or a credit card, you're over your limit.
They hit that barcode, and that barcode comes up, and the room sits up, and
Yeah.
I can also say, by the way, Joe, you only got 2 more, what you call it, you know, 2 9s or 1 18 left.
Well,
on this
I like
card.
that, like you said, for the 50th or whatever, what is it, the 50th?
50th
anniversary.
Yeah, 50 rounds,
50 rounds for, well,
about 50th anniversary.
50 rounds for, what would it be?
that would be
$2,500.
$2,500.
So 50 rounds is.
That's a lot. I would go like, I was going with it. Offer 10 and 20 round, or,
Yeah, we could
you could do a 5% discount on a 10 round. And a 10% discount on a 20 round, so that way you could upsell them to the 20 maybe.
Okay, love it.
The thing was, he wasn't gonna say anything until you told him they got a potential person.
I wasn't.
You wanted to get it all out
He wanted
tonight.
to get all-
I was ready. I didn't know I was gonna be able to be in this meeting.
Yeah, you signed-
that
you
gift
signed the
card
contract.
too.
You didn't go blank.
That gift card too could also pay for the carts. The carts
Oh,
will run off
less
that
than
too.
an hour. Wow.
That's why it's all inclusive. Right now, it's.
That's a good idea. I
Who
mean,
gets reimbursed for cards? Or who gets the revenue from the
We
cards?
do, he gets a cut, but we get most of it.
Well, that's why we have to be careful about that, right?
But we'll take the money and then we pay him the extra.
Okay.
That's how it goes. We
Okay.
pay him.
We do that, that's what we do.
That's all done, that's all done
But
now.
then he gets paid on a number of cards.
that's a good idea, because when you go up there and swipe that card,
Yeah, you don't wanna have.
golf and the card.
That's right.
For zero.
It comes out,
For zero.
it comes off.
And you know what, if I wanna take,
It's girl math.
If I wanna take
6
three-
months ago, so it's free now.
Right.
if I wanna
Well,
take,
that works too.
if I wanna take 3 people out and play golf this weekend,
You
I'll
can
play
pay
a card
it
up
off.
on
There
here.
you go,
You can swipe it all off of your card.
Yeah.
You're paid for.
You know, and in retrospect, maybe if we are going to, and I know, I think this is something that you guys did prior to my being here, is for a certain limited time, you offer last year's rate. I've seen this a lot.
Right,
Last
yes.
year's rate, buy before January 30th or before
Right.
December 30th,
Absolutely.
we lowered the price.
Yep.
So that's something we can reinstitute as a way to. See, what we don't wanna do is just stay the same, like when we're trying to generate a little bit more revenue, so let's say each season pass we pay, we sell, we upcharge $150, and I don't know offhand how many we sold, but. You know, it wouldn't take much to generate a little bit more revenue.
Right. That's some good stuff. I'll think about it for a month.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could use the 50th anniversary to take $50 off.
That's a good way to look at it too, yeah.
Keep them coming, you are all hired. We'd also love for you guys to be starters and rangers. I think that'd be a good gig for some of you guys, me included.
I would love to retire tomorrow and do it.
One leg on the golf cart, I can already see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but
How quiet it got.
But the good part is, if you do get people like on this commission or people within town that care about that, the worst thing to do is to hire people that don't care about the golf course.
Mhm.
So if you get, we know there's a lot of zealots about this golf
Oh,
course.
yeah.
I mean, if you see somebody doing something crazy, they're not afraid to speak up and say, hey, what the hell? you doing? So.
All right, anything else? All right, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
6:55.
Pat, you need the thing,
Kill
or
it.
do we wanna keep it going?
We'll kill it for 5
No,
minutes.
Matt needs his coffee.
Thank you.
One of the things I'd like to bring up in the interim is that the study they did about the budget, the
I did the wrong thing.
ACAL,
ACL.
they talked about interconnecting the computer systems, and one of the computer systems that doesn't talk well